This meeting is being recorded.
All right. There we go. I got a lot to talk about tonight, but I'm not going to do a lot of...
All right. I'm going to change some things around here.
Yes. We are live. Oh, right on.
Because everybody at the end.
I just said a whole bunch of stuff live on the Facebook page that you're not
Recorded.
Yes. Let's do this. Welcome. How y'all doing? Andy McCabe here. This is the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for the 18th of September, 2018. I love it when the dates add up, 1818. I don't know why. Maybe I'm OCD. I just like it. I'm excited today. I'm going to share some good news today. I want to hear from the small group of people that showed up today that are not on cat duty. But first, we're going to get into the commitments. That's what we do. Here we go. Rebel commitments. In order to maintain clarity of purpose, we ask that every member of the Rebel community make the following commitments. Number 1, I will protect the value of my services. Number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. There was a comment in the group I will bring up shortly. I do not believe in competition. Number 3. Number 4, I am willing to walk away from any project, any client, or contract that is not compatible with my values and stated mission. Too often, we make short-term decisions based on short-term goals that are not compatible with our long-term mission, which is living a good life. Live a good, wholesome life that you can go to bed at night and sleep without worrying about, what lies did I tell today? Anyway, okay, I'm going to promote Derek Anderson to a panelist. Rick S., get in the room. Okay, so there was a thread today, or this week. Was it 2 days ago? Someone was asking about, and they were obviously not part of either one of the Restoration Rebel summits that we had. But they were asking, what report do you print out of Xactimate? Is it rough draft report? Is it final draft report? Is it or is it customer no totals or customer totals? They don't say no totals, but that's what it is. It's a customer no dollar figure report. And some guys were saying, well, I do that because I have customers who take my Xactimate and think it's like a shopping list. And that's not why we're here. We're not here to hide things from our clients. We need to keep in mind, who is our client? Is our client the adjuster? Or is our client the homeowner or the business owner, the person who suffered the loss? If we give them a report that doesn't tell them 100% of what we're charging, that is hiding. That is hiding numbers. We don't do that here. You can do that somewhere else. We don't do that here. Restoration Rebels, we practice incredible transparency. Customer totals report does not belong in this group. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to go back to the thread. When we're done here, it doesn't belong. Customer total report, if you have a customer who is nitpicking and cherry picking your estimate, you have not done a very good job of educating them on how the process works. Because a properly estimated project also has an opening statement and this understanding that if you start taking stuff out of this, I'm still going to make my profit because I'm here to make money, and we're all here to make money. So you can have a frank conversation with your clients and say, you know what, if you want to do your own painting, fine, great, you can take that out, but I'm keeping the overhead and profit on that. And I reserve the right to change the rest of the line items so I ensure that I still make money for my company because we're all here to make money. So a customer no totals report is a no-no in my mind. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is somebody raising their hand? Is somebody raise and then lower their hand? I saw that. So who here has used, I'm not going to make fun of you, who here has used a customer no totals report? Liars. Come on. Somebody has.
I've never used one to give to the customer, but what I've done is I use the just scope to give to subs, where there's nothing on it. But
That's different.
Because that's a total. And that, to me, that's why the customer doesn't know my numbers, because they don't know what I get my materials or my labor for.
Exactly.
So they're going to know those numbers either way because their insurance company's going to get them.
Yes, they are. Exactly. So why would you give a report to a customer knowing that at the end of the day, when the claim is settled, they're going to know all the numbers anyway? So show them up front. Please show them up front. Don't try to play these games. And if you're having problems with customers using your Xactimate as a shopping list, you've got an education problem, not a report problem. Don't hide it with a report. Mr. Clark Brown, I knew you'd have something to say on this. Go ahead, bro.
And I think this is for 1,003 different scenarios that are just like this, and that is, how would you want to be treated if you were the customer? Would you want, because we already have, contractors in general have a reputation of playing the game.
Yes.
So if it was you and you had someone that was going to come and you did not know enough about their industry that you even knew there was such a report. So I agree with you educating, but all of these things, should I, could I, would I, can always be answered is, would I want that done to me or my family? And that's
Right.
just your beacon.
Right. If you don't show what you're proposing to charge, you're eliminating a whole range of conversations that could happen. How many people just take a loss and put their house back exactly how it was? Nobody. 10% maybe on the high end. Everyone makes changes. How are they supposed to make educated decisions about the changes they want to make, the upgrades they want to make, if they don't know the costs of the things they're trading out? If you hand a customer a report that has no totals in the line items, they can't make good decisions. They can't upgrade their flat-laid laminate countertops to granite because they don't know what you are giving them or what their allowance is for those flat-laid countertops. So don't take, and your salespeople are going to be pissed because they have no chance of upselling this customer with a report like that. So yeah, don't do that. Don't hide things. We do not manipulate reports. I mean, I was thinking earlier over the weekend, I was like, man, I need to reiterate why do these exist? Why do the commitments exist? They exist because if we do everything as a group, we do these 4 things, we will change how the game is played. But we can't change the game if we're still playing little games with our clients. We don't play games with clients. Brian Roush, get in the room. Get in the room, Brian. Do you have something to say, Mr. Brian? Because you're the last one here. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Manipulating reports. Customer no total reports. You know what that is? Out of Xactimate? Oh, all right. All right. You might get a pass. You might get a hall pass on this one. So there's a report that you can print out of Xactimate that shows all the line items. This much carpet, this much base, this much paint, blah, 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 blah. But instead of a dollar figure on the right-hand side, there's nothing. So there's no dollar amount attached to any line item. There's just one big old lump sum at the end. And the reason people use that report, Mr. Roush, yeah, how's Houston going, by the way? You good? Yeah? Homesick? Yeah, man, you're living in 2 places right now, aren't you? That sucks. So if people use that report to try to keep their clients from taking the most profitable portions of an estimate and saying, hey, I'll do my own painting or I'll do my own cleaning, blah, 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 and you can have the rest because they can see the totals. But what that also inhibits is any kind of upsell. You can't show the value proposition of what you're trying to upsell. Mr. Compton, what do you say?
Yeah, I would say with that, there's still room to upsell. They just might want to switch something out. Or if they're concerned about their deductible, you can go, hey, here, I'm not going to charge you for work I'm not going to do. That's fine, but there you go. Or I know I ran into this problem in reconstruction. There's always more reconstruction than you can take on, and you let them disqualify the job for you. You did the estimate, whatever. This one isn't a good one anyway. Or
let them disqualify themselves. Give them the opportunity.
Yeah, so that to me, it's simple, but they're going to be way more upset in the end when they see that number if you didn't show it to them in the beginning, and then it's not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, every time you hide something, you risk them finding out, and then what?
Yeah.
Ugh. Pissed is what they are. Pissed. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I like to read this book right here, End of Competitive Advantage. I think everyone needs to understand the theories behind this book. I just got done with this. This book, this man right here, Timothy Ferriss, original author of The 4-Hour Workweek, he has gone on to do some amazing things. Among them is look at this. These are 2 books. These have got to be, well, this one's going to be 2 inches thick. This one's about 1.5 inches. This one's called Tribe of Mentors. And what I look at when I read books, it's like a mentor, like somebody I'm absorbing the knowledge of a mentor, because I'm out over here in Bend, Oregon. I'm isolated. I don't have a lot of mentors. I don't have a lot of people I can talk to get good business advice. So I read books. I like to read quality books. Tribe of Mentors. I mean, this is a short life advice from the best in the world. And when he says best in the world, he is not messing around. Let me see here. Let me read down. Oh, wait. I don't recognize any of these names, but they're really good. Hold on a second. I'm going to get to a name. Kelly Slater. There's one. Anyway, that's not the book I want to talk about today. I want to talk about Tools of Titans. So you either have mentorship in theory, or you have actual tactics and tools. This book is jam-packed, 2 inches of pure gold in this book. So I just read the chapter yesterday by a man. So Tim Ferriss has a podcast, and what he did is he took all of his podcasts and he went back to the guests that he had on his podcast and then made a chapter of a book out of every single one of these guys. So you guys haven't heard of Derek Sivers. Derek Sivers is one of my favorite humans. I often call him for advice. Think of him as a philosopher, king, programmer, master teacher, and merry prankster. Originally a professional musician and circus clown, Derek created CD Baby in 1998. Who's heard of CD Baby? Everybody. It became the largest seller of independent music online with 100 million in sales for 150,000 musicians. In 2008, Derek sold CD Baby for 22 million. So what Tim Ferriss did is he took guys like Derek Sivers, can you read that? Derek Sivers, and just distilled as much knowledge as he could down to these 5 pages. And I read something last night, and it's going to come back to me. But I'm going to look through this. Who here has read a really good book that they would recommend to the group? Lindsay, what was it?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
It's a great book. Great book.
And Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. Ooh, do tell. Do tell. Give us a little bit of
Another one by Napoleon Hill.
Ooh.
They're both really good.
What about Outwitting the Wily Cat in the background there? I see that tail. We can learn so much just by these are hard lessons that we don't have to learn the hard way. That's what I love about books. That's what I love about reading. My favorite quote from this chapter is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. We make so many decisions in our lives based on what would they want us to do, or what's my expectation of me, instead of what do I really want out of my life. So I think a lot of this goes back to, do I go to North and South Carolina or do I not? And a lot of people are trying to reason their way, make an excuse to go. But if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So if you're not invited, if you don't have a guaranteed job when you get there, if you're going on a maybe, it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And we can apply that across all of our businesses. We can apply it to our lives. All right, I'm not going to go. I had some ideas last night, but they're eluding me, so I'm going to put this book down. But get this book, Tools of Titans, if you want to learn some shit. If you don't, you can come here and learn some shit too. So, Mr. Jonathan Grubb's got his sunglasses on. Do you go to the eye doctor or something? You get dilated? I know it's not that sunny in Idaho. How you doing, buddy? I want to hear from you. How you been? Talk to us.
I've been good. I've been busy. I've got lots of clients in the path of Florence. So I have been deconstructing and building and rebuilding campaigns.
So
this
how
week.
do campaigns shift in a CAD if you're there? I mean, you are in the region as a business. You're doing PPC already, but
Right.
now it's got to shift. What are those changes?
So typically we pause everything in the backyard. So the normal service area gets paused, and then I've been talking to guys a couple times a day saying, where are you at today? Where do you plan on being at? And to give you an example, so I've got a local client to North Carolina, but he's in the west part of the state. He was in North Myrtle Beach yesterday trying to make his way into Wilmington. And so we turned on I guess one campaign that went from North Myrtle Beach to about Oak Island, North Carolina. Ran that for a few hours yesterday. And then late last night, he emailed me and said, okay, I'm going to be in Wilmington and New Bern tomorrow. So I turned on two separate campaigns at 8:30 this morning. And before lunch my time, so it was 11:30, he had 4 appointments booked. And we are sort of watching those campaigns. Cost per click is pretty cheap. I'm looking in another area that's even cheaper right now. It's like $18 per click cheap, which is dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But ideally, these guys just land a couple of jobs. We get them into a neighborhood, and then ideally we shut everything down, and the rest of the work comes organically, just from neighbors, seeing your truck.
They get a beachhead. They get an anchor point.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that's ideal. So I've been building accounts since Monday. Most of my clients went live again on Monday morning. Most were paused through the weekend because Wilmington there were still evacuation orders in place. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can just get some good work and then start knocking on doors and doing door hangers and getting approached by their neighbors for the guys doing residential. So I haven't heard of any commercial stuff coming through pay-per-click yet, but it may happen.
I would be surprised if a lot of commercial work came through pay-per-click.
I am always surprised that it does, but it does. I've seen some big 7-figure projects come through a little click. So,
sheesh. And if you're my property manager doing that, you're fired. I'm sorry.
What I've seen repeatedly is the general manager or the front desk person at hotels. They're the best. Or in one case, it was the executive housekeeper who had been through multiple. She had been executive housekeeping in hotels for a couple decades, been through many water damages, and she was the click. So Eric Fennell, if he was on, he could talk about that. He did 2 projects for a Hyatt Regency in California due to pay-per-click. So I'm not so surprised. It's funny who searches. Like I was a big, I thought for a couple of years, biohazard crime scene cleanup, it's never going to work through pay-per-click. That's actually how people search. So, yeah.
They don't have a resource.
But I would say, here's my advice. If you are not from the area, and I've gotten private messages and emails from my own clients, and then folks who are not my clients saying, I'm on my way. I cannot point ads for North Carolina to a website based in Indiana or Arizona or Texas. It's just not going to work. People are too savvy. They're going to see different area codes, and that is not priority for the folks in and around North Carolina. That's a much more believable thing. So if you're coming from out of state, I do not recommend pointing ads to your own website. You will spend money, guaranteed. I do not believe you will see conversions.
Yeah. So if
Can't
you're
wrap
coming
it
from
up.
out of state, it's about access. And
Yeah.
Mr. Ledbetter has spent the better part of the last week creating at least a door to knock on, right?
Yeah.
And you and I and Mr. Brown have seen him in action, and you guys have, the rest of you has seen him posting his videos online. What he's been doing is prospecting. He's not selling jobs because no one's there to sell to. There's evacuations. There's still disaster happening. There's tornadoes today in Virginia, for crying out loud.
2 miles from my house.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you went the wrong direction.
I want to tell everybody here that's on the call or listening, I've been hearing and listen, at the end of the day, I'm really not overly concerned about what everybody does. I'm hearing a lot of people getting discouraged, and because here's the deal. And I was talking to John about this today. Restorers and restoration contractors, we have one speed, and that's usually go, go, go. Our customers never say, hey, hold on, wait a minute. We're usually like, I want urgency, because urgency you can sell. So what we've got is a couple of thousand contractors that got here way too early, including, I came on Monday. I could have probably come tomorrow, that are all antsy. All these things are playing in their head. They're counting the money that they're spending. And I'm hearing
And
today,
counting the eggs, yes.
I'm hearing today that people are wanting to turn around and go home. Now, let me tell you, and I'm not going to say what, I signed 6 commercial losses today. I was hauling ass to get out of town, and we're going to start them tomorrow. I have 3 to look at tomorrow.
Yep.
Guys, I'm just going to tell everybody, whether you stay or go is not to me. Actually, if everybody wants to leave, it's more for me. I'm okay with that. But I really, 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 really want everyone to kind of take a deep breath and realize that the rivers haven't crested and the water hasn't gone down. Places that were not flooded are flooded. And so this is, just listen to that advice, if anything else. But jobs are starting to come loose today. We got several signed today and all kinds of calls tomorrow. And it's just a patience. But I just want everybody to be very patient. And I'm going to take a page from Bob Timmel's page. Check for asbestos, guys. Just because of the storm, you cannot get away from OSHA and regs.
Does not release you from legalities and liability.
And OSHA will come here in mass with all the inspectors they can round up, and they will be knocking on your van door saying, hey, show me your samples of this building. Show me it's clear. So that's all I got to say. Hey, John, I like your flannel. Bye.
I like John's flannel. He's got a style. I mean, it's just no two ways. He's got style. He turned his video off, though, so we can't see it now. There it is. Boom.
I'm sorry. Was I needed?
No, man, no. Not your word.
I wasn't listening either. I had to be dad.
I love it. No, we like your flannel. That's it. That is all.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go away now.
So Mr. Ledbetter has put together a list of properties with verified physical damage. He cannot service that list. He is willing to sell that list to 3 people, I think. 2 or 3 people. He doesn't want to sell it like en masse. He wants to sell it to 3 people who think they can call into that list and sell commercial properties, sell jobs with verified roof damage from wind or flood damage. And I think it's genius. I mean, he's not going to make a ton of money. He's losing money at $2,500 a piece for 3 people getting access to this list. But in his words, and he's not here, so I'm going to speak for him, he wants to get as many rebels busy in North and South Carolina as possible. So that's why he's been doing what he's doing. Yes, he's going to get his. Yes, he's going to sell enough. Manly Construction is going to get millions of dollars out of this storm because he went and got it. He created access. But there's more work to be had. So if anyone here in this room or here out in the interwebs, once this thing is over, you want access to verified damage to areas that no one has been back to yet, get a hold of Joe Ledbetter because he knows, because he saw it with his drone or with his own eyes. And that's what it's about. He's a smart cat. There's a reason that 2 years ago he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to tell you my story." I'm like, yeah. But I listened to his story, and then I listened to him, and then I fell in love with Joe Ledbetter because he's just got this mind. He is a salesman, and he knows how to get access and sell. And his processes, if you follow Joe and his processes, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. Now, if you're no good at your job and you can't re-roof, or if you can't repair, if you can't be a restorer, we can't help you. But Joe will help you get the job. He will help you sell the job and go get it, because that's just where he's at. Sorry, Joe, you're not here to take in all that love, but I'm going to send it to you. Here it is.
He's about to call in.
Here's my love. Boom. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I heard you, Clark. He's about to call in, is he?
He's going to call in.
Well, are you guys going to meet up tonight? Gonna have beers or what?
I still got an hour and 40-minute drive to my crib, and he's got away. So probably not. We had dead cow last night together, so it's probably good enough for one lifetime.
I like dead cow. I do. Tastes good. Dead cow is good. Oh, speaking of, here he is. Here he comes. Get in here, Mr. Joe Ledbetter. I'm glad you weren't here, Joe, because I was laying on some really thick stuff, and I'm glad you weren't here to hear it, because your head is big enough already. But God bless you for all the work you did this week. Or you could unmute yourself and we could all hear what you're saying.
I appreciate that. Sorry it's dark. I'm driving. We're on our way back to our hotel.
No worries. How many rivers did you ford today?
Actually, you know what? We only went through a little bit of water today. I think pretty much we're good to go. There's no more major water issues. But I will tell you, as our travels went today, we did find some new areas that flooded as of this morning. About 32 commercial buildings, all in a nice little sweet pocket. It's ridiculous. So, like, for anybody listening or watching this now or tomorrow or whatever, I'm not sure where Andy started this with, but I'll just give you guys a quick, like, real feel of what's happening here.
I gave a rundown of it, but it probably wasn't accurate. So you go ahead.
There you go. So, as everybody knows, this made landfall as a tropical depression, right? So the winds at their best were 90-mile-an-hour gusts. So it did damage, but it did isolated damage. We actually surveyed the entire region from from Raleigh, direct due east to the ocean, all the way down to Williamston, and then all the way back up to Fayetteville and around. And we documented every single commercial building that, one, either had a roof damage, which also equaled, we qualified it would have to have water on the inside, and it would be a full replacement, wind above, full policy claim limit.
Yeah, you didn't document just a little bit of flashing missing. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Whatever. Flashing. This was documented like deeply. Yeah. And also the other was a commercial property, same circumstances, but flooded. So it's an operating business. It's not an abandoned building, et cetera, et cetera. And it's random. So like no joke, you go into Kingston and there's like 7 buildings with roof damage and none of the neighbors, nothing else. Like those are the 7 needles in the haystack. Same thing with the flooding, and we've covered everything and plotted it on a map. It's extremely detailed, and we're just at capacity, right? Like we're not, this isn't a big, wide enough spread event where we can just get fat on ourselves. So we realized that early on. We said, okay, we're going to go after X, Y, and Z, and we're going to close out those and just move forward and be very happy with our cat return. But I'm sitting on this freaking list of every little detail of what's damaged.
Yes.
Like people, if you've never been on cat, you maybe can't appreciate this, but if you've been on cat, especially in this region, like traveling miles just to get to different cities, you can save a lot of time, right? It is what it is. But it's a decent event. There's a couple of high profile jobs here. But here's what I'll tell you. Listen, this is a really poor community. That's the reality of it. So if you're coming to do residential, you really need to think twice about it, because I'm just telling you guys right now, these are poor people. And they have a do-it-themselves mentality, no different than a lot of other floodplain areas in the country. And it's going to be a really tough go. There's very, very, very few high-profile jobs in this event. And here's the other thing. Here's another thing that tells you that it's not an event, by the way. And I'm going to say it's not an event, because I've been able to get fuel, food, and resources every single day from the storm.
Okay.
So think about that.
That tells you something.
That tells you a lot, right? I could go to 15 Home Depots right now, all within a 40-minute drive of wherever I've been, and get materials.
Oof. Okay.
So
Wow. That's a great
right,
picture you just painted.
right? So people have to kind of let that kind of soak in and understand that, so that they know wherever you want to go eat. Okay. Sorry, we're trying to figure out where we're eating. It's late and there's not much open.
Waffle House.
But just because of the time of day, yeah, Waffle House. We've already eaten there twice, right? Like, I'm tired of eating gas station. But it's a good event. I mean, it's a good to the point where, you know, there's work. I will tell you this, man. If you are a North Carolina roofing contractor, there's enough roof work to do for 10 years. So we got down on the Barrier Islands today, right? We went down into Carolina City on the beach, right?
Okay.
Nobody's allowed in there. It's fully restricted, 100%. We got in. We had basically the Barrier Islands to ourselves. Literally. I mean, there was maybe a dozen people there. And every house was a $2 million house. Every roof was completely shredded. So you want to go tarp roofs and get policy from above, go ahead. But here's the thing I have to caution you on. They're all going to have 2 or 3% wind deductibles. And keep in mind, I just said they're $2 million homes. So, you know, from a claim strategy,
Ouch, do the math.
You have to really know what you're doing on this. Like, everyone says, oh, there's lots of work, but is there really? If I own a $2 million house and I got a $40,000 deductible and I need a $40,000 roof, am I making a claim?
Yeah, you're not.
I'm only making a claim with a really skilled contractor who's going to inspect every square inch of my building, look for wind damage, penetration, punctures, weird stuff, right?
You're going to go with somebody who can get it to 8.
Exactly. So again, from a claim strategy, from a claims perspective, from a return on investment, there's a lot of work, but you have to know the deal you're going into. Just because it's damaged doesn't mean this is a gold mine.
Right.
Like, you have to be able to think through the people's policies. The local community down here, they're really cool people, though. I will tell you that. Lots of hospitality, no problems. We've yet to be stopped by anybody. So we've gotten past the National Guard, the state troopers, any roadblock you can imagine. We've just gotten through without hesitation. But I will tell you, there was this one bulldog, like, private security police officer at this high-end neighborhood that we were trying to inspect, and we couldn't get past this chick for go, man. She had our number, right? She called out the bullshit. She's like, yeah, pull over. We're like, okay, right.
Dude,
whatever.
I've seen you.
Yeah, so, but we got access, though. So then here's the other thing, right? And let me share this with you guys. This list, this beautifully manicured list, we've reached out to at least 40% of them because there's so many, we just can't get to them all through social media, and started conversations. And, you know, the number one rebuttal we've come across from everybody is simply this. This happened in Matthew. We had damages in Matthew 2 years ago, right? And we have a contractor that we're happy with that we've already communicated with. Listen, I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. I respect that. Here's my card. Let me give you a free inspection while I'm here. Let me know if they don't show up, and I'll be more than glad to come and facilitate. And so, you know, a lot of those conversations, sorry about that. A lot of those conversations were today and yesterday. And there's a lot of those things that will just start to come through on fruition, you know, over a period of time. But, you know, that's a rebuttal. Another one, we don't have insurance. Like, I had people say, listen, we have a church. We know we got $1 million in damage, but we haven't had an insurance policy in 6 years.
Ouch.
Okay, that's why you have 3 sets of shingles on your roof at this point, right? Because, you know, Band-Aiding. So, you know, again, you're working in a region that's weathered the storm.
Yeah.
Right? So you go on the Barrier Islands, every house is up 12 feet on stilts, right? You go into some of these areas and they've really worked the terrain to save their properties. We go into, what was it, Jacksonville? Yeah, it was Jacksonville. Check this out. No, not Jacksonville. It was Fayetteville. It was in Fayetteville, right? The county
is every city
library,
a ville?
the county library, right? Check this out. They have a lower level that backs up to the river. They installed floodgates on every man door on the back of this building, and the water got to about an inch of the top of those floodgates. And those floodgates, I was so impressed. They saved the entire library. Very impressive stuff. But here's again deceiving. You look at the news, and the news, anybody who watched the news would say that building was underwater. Bullshit, it wasn't. Like, there was a lot of that. We would get stuck looking at properties and be like, dude, that building has to be underwater. And we'd roll up on it. No, you know, they did their engineering right. They built it 1.5 feet higher, and the water came right up to the doorsteps. Like, there's a lot of that deception. You know, when you're doing these inspections, you're looking for, you know, loss, and you're looking for work.
Well, you can't believe the news. You cannot believe the news because they sell sensation. They sell. I mean, how many references to the Bible do we need in one broadcast? But that's what they're doing. It's biblical proportions. But hey, Joe, you've got a couple people here in the chat asking for feedback on that list. So I invite you guys to get a hold of him in the Facebook group, direct message him, and get a hold of that thing.
I'll put my phone number in the chat. Anybody wants to reach out to me tonight, feel free. I am about to eat dinner in about 10 minutes, so I would like to at least get some real food. So maybe give me 40 minutes before you start calling me. But
Roger that.
anyway,
Roger
my
that.
number's out there for everybody. But here's the reality. Like, again, guys, there's damage. If you're not here, please don't come. If you're not already in the region, please do not leave your own market. I promise you, it's not worth your time. There's enough guys.
You can do your competitors a favor by doing that.
But here's what's crazy. 5 days rolling deep, dude. We've done 3,000 miles in this little region. No exaggeration. I will tell you this. We've maybe seen at this point 16 or 17 actual restoration, different companies.
Well, just no one's there yet. Except for that one Surf Pro truck that got stuck in the river.
Surf Pros, Extreme Teams killing it down in New Bern, right? Like, they did really good. Paul Schwartz's team, they've sold some good work, and they've locked that area out. You know, we've looked at several high rises with wind-driven rain, and here's the reality. Yeah, we had the same issue in Matthew, and we never did anything, and it dried out. Okay, like, these are real rebuttals that you're faced with. So just because
not a hotel I want to stay in.
Right, just because the event is here, quote unquote, and even in our internal news, we talk about it. You have to be conscious of it. Not everybody wants it, but if this would have hit as a 2 or a 3, listen, shut the fuck up, man. Like,
yeah, shut the front door for sure.
Like, listen, total game changer. But it didn't. It came in with sustained winds at like 75, 80, peaks of 90, 110. But we rode, so everybody understands, we rode in the dirty side of the storm from prior to it making landfall for 20 some hours, all the way through until it turned well into land. So we physically documented actual real damage as it occurred, and then continued to sell and go back in those same areas and add additional information, like once it started to flood. So yeah, I mean, the list is comprehensive. So here's the deal. If you're on CAT and you know the value of knowing where the damage is, it's really simple. Like, you look at the map, you drive to an address, and you knock on the door. That's really it, right? Like, or you do what we didn't, use some social media. But all of these people
get some access.
They need service. Like, guys, we just drove through a whole bunch of areas again today on our way back from some jobs, and nothing on this list has even been attacked. Like, I take that back. There was a CVS with a national contractor on it, but that was it. None of the other pins had been like attacked or worked on. I don't know, dude. It's a good event, dude. It's cool to see a lot of people, talking about it, but there's not a lot of people here. It really is. And by the way, power is basically restored, regardless of what they say. Like, these street lights are on everywhere for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of that. But again, we've been able to get fuel. We've been able to get food. We've been able to get supplies, and without really any hesitation.
So this wasn't a Harvey. This wasn't really a Matthew, right? This was definitely not a Katrina. All right.
Well, so here's what's interesting, though. We compare this to Matthew. This had much higher winds than Matthew did, so there's a lot more wind damage for sure. But from a flooding perspective, it was about equal to or less than Matthew.
Okay. All right.
So
except for that tornado in Virginia today, or several. Yeah. I don't know what it was.
There was one just north of our hotel last night too. But I mean, so we obviously, our goal, we take data from Matthew. We compare those flood maps, those areas, those regions, which, by the way, huge shout out to John Grubb in supporting some logistics for us. He was slamming the keyboards for us, getting us some flood maps on things that we weren't sure about. But we compared it to 2016, right? And we looked at it, and it was just a repeat. It was just a pretty big repeat. So like, check this out. We get a call from a supplier of ours. I'm not going to tell you who they are. And they say, hey, how would you price out this job? Well, this is how we would price out that job. And he goes, yeah, so there's a job that a big company did last year. And now the GC that put it back after the last claim just wants to do the mitigation himself. And so have us mitigation. If you listen to what I just said, the GC from last time is cutting out the national contractor that has a contract to come in and do it. So this speaks to a marketplace being resilient and being aggressive and changing and evolving. So again, this Carolina, if they got hit by
exactly, they learned and they adapted the same rules that 2 years ago. The same rules don't apply.
They don't apply, and that's my point, right? So that's the conversation, and that's the reality of it.
That is the conversation. That's exactly what's happening. Not just with this event, industry wide. People are learning. People are more sophisticated now than they even were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And what worked 2 years ago is not going to work now.
Exactly. But here's the thing. If you're here, your tools, in my opinion, thermal camera, drone, really good phone or camera, and a good GPS. I mean, that those are the tools. And we killed it with company cam. I'm not to give them a props, but we did kill it with company cam.
When are they going to give me some free access to that shit?
Right. Well, I can't speak to that specifically, but there is some.
But you just did, because this is going on YouTube, bro. We're
really
solid
things that are going to be happening in the future with company cam, man. It's pretty exciting to see how
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
But with that being said, listen, if anybody wants to message me or have a conversation, it's always free. It's always good.
And his phone number is in the chat. I just see it right over here.
It is. It's in the chat. That's crazy, right? Like, my phone's going like crazy. I just gave it out to another 2,000 people. I love all you guys, though.
Love it.
All right, man. I'm going to go eat dinner.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, bye, guys.
So what I'm seeing and what we have done, for those of you who don't know, there's a leadership. There's four of us. We call ourselves the Quad because it sounds cool. But so the Quad Squad is me and Clark and Joe and John. So the Quad Squad, we've been talking like 4 or 5 times a day for the last week. And Joe's been out there doing this thing. I like the model that's developing. I like the next cat that's going to hit. I like the idea of being able to send out the scouts, right? And scout this stuff out, and then pull the resources of the rebels and respond in a major way to a regional event. This obviously was not really a regional event. I know I don't want to be insensitive to the loss of life and the real tragedy that's happening in this event. I am aware of it, and I'm very sorry that it's happening. That being said, this is not the same scale as a Harvey or a Katrina. What I would like to see is us take this model that we're developing right now, and frankly, Joe's been doing this for several years. He's got it down to a science for his business, but we'd like to take this and make it a rebel thing. I think that has legs. I think that's exciting, and I think that has a chance to change how things are done in our industry. And if you know me at all, that's what I'm about, changing how things are done, because I don't like how they were done before. Travis Chansey, you got in here late. Can you talk? Are you cool? Can you talk?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's it, brother? I love you, man. I miss you. I'm gonna come see you soon. Hey, I want you to talk about. You missed the beginning, so I talked about this book. Have you read that book?
I haven't.
You need to get it, Tim Ferriss, or this one from Tim Ferriss. Travis Force.
Gotcha.
And I also mentioned in a competitive advantage. But my point was, I use books, I use pages as my mentors, as my own personal master's degree program.
Yes.
And I know just spending a day and a half with you, that's 2 days with you, that you are very similar. We are very similar. We just want to soak it in. So can you speak of, first off, what's the last book you read that you really liked?
Well, I'm reading about 2 books a week right now. And the best way
Damn.
I'm doing it is actually doing it through Google Read or Google Books. And then I just I go up to the top right hand box there, drop that down, and just read aloud. And then it highlights and reads at the same time.
Get out of here. So it's like Audible.
Yeah, no matter what, the subconscious actually picks up every word. So no matter what, you're comprehending it, it's going in. And I'm actually, I'm reading books, right and left now. I'm going through the Dolores Cannon, stuff. So I know it's not work related, but it is more on the personal side for me. But yeah, it's all talking about things that you guys it'll be very bizarre to you guys, but it's really interesting.
Brian gets it. Brian gets it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm about as different as most folk. I'm very different. So, but I like reading, and knowledge is king. And so hitting books out, like that, and being able to knock them out, and kind of showing my family too. Even when I'm having Junior in the back, I'm reading a book, as we're driving. So yeah, it's a good thing for the family to see that you're going to be always learning, no matter what, even on this side and on the other side. And that's the truth, And I mean, the other side, that is heaven. There is schools, and that's the way we are, in our next life,
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Junior sacked out back there.
Yeah, he loves these conference calls like this. He's sitting back. He just takes notes.
What's up, bro? How
He
you doing,
loves
man?
Andy McCabe.
Miss you, man.
So-
Miss you, man. Last time I saw you, you served me like eggs and toast. I loved it.
Yeah, he's always a servant. He's always serving people.
I love it.
So that's what it's all about. And I know that what's going on with Joel and having the journalistic effect. I mean, he's a journalist. He goes into these scenes and he knows how to and talk about them. And I'm just getting so excited. People like that in our lives. I mean, he's a blessing to the Rebel group.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, having somebody like that is just he's like Luke Skywalker.
Well, we get to learn. We get to sit back here and learn. Do we get to literally see what he's going through and learn how to do what he's doing? Not that we're going to do what he's doing, but we see it. Yeah, exactly. Incredible.
Yeah, I was watching him. Before this all happened, he was into the drones and buying the drones, and I was watching him on Facebook and his activity and stuff. He was going after drones. Drones. I mean, that's the videographer. In him, he knows that's the tool in his tool belt. Going in and dropping in a drone. And what I'm into now is Matterport. So the Matterport technology, I'm dropping it in on all my large losses now.
Yes, sir.
And, the adjusters are like behind the scenes, just like loving this type of stuff because we're just doing their job easier. And
I think Matterport's going to be not just large lot. I think Matterport's going to go mainstream. I think it's going to be. It's like an IR camera now. Like if you don't have an IR camera and a restoration guy,
you're an idiot. So
exactly.
So you definitely the Matterport technology. I'm getting real excited about. I'm gonna start doing some live streaming on jobs.
Brian, it's a Matterport, MATTERPORT, and it's a camera with about 8 lenses on it that sits on a tripod and turns in 360 degrees. It puts out, and I don't have an affiliate. I should have an agreement with them. Matterport, contact me this week, please. It spits out a 360 degree dollhouse, or they call it a dollhouse image, but you can literally walk through the loss and turn in any direction. But the secret sauce, does it export to Xactimate now?
Yes, it does. So,
Boom.
Yeah, it's done. I've been working with AI, with Seth and Mark, and trying to get all their technology stuff because they're smart people, and I respect them tremendously.
Yeah, and Lindsay's in the chat saying right now it's $600 off. I thought it was $1,000 off, but it's $600 off right now. They're just going big. They're going big.
Yeah, so I've just been hiring somebody to do it. To be honest with you, it's so super cheap that way.
Exactly, because these guys that have Matterport cameras, what were they doing? They were working for real estate agents. They already have the camera.
Right.
Just send them over there and do your thing. I'm a professional estimator.
And drone at the same time. So he goes over there.
And they do the drone at the same time, exactly.
At the same time. And then he gets me pictures, gives me everything. So all my files done. It was like $300 for a large loss. It was like, a couple $100,000 job.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Future. Oh, I didn't know you were here already. Oh, okay.
I was like, are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Like, give me more. So I scheduled
It
them
would cost you more to send a project manager over there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that future is no estimators, so it's all going to be virtual.
Yeah. Where's David? He dropped off, but I told him
Yeah.
I am an endangered species. I got to figure out something else to do with my life.
I tell my estimators that every estimator meeting. Like, you got endangered.
There he is. There, David.
And the estimators look at, is this guy going to fire me? What's going on?
I'm not going to fire you.
You guys are
The
not
robot is going to fire you. I'm actually going to send a robot in here to do the firing because I don't get dirty like
Yeah. Well, Trevor does all the firing. So
Oh,
he
God
likes
bless
that.
him. God,
Yeah.
Travis, good to see you, man. I'm always glad to see you. I'm excited to see how this whole thing comes together, and everything happens for a reason. We are here, and we are lucky to be here.
Yes.
Keep reading, keep getting a hold of people like Travis.
Never
I don't know
stop.
what I would do without people like Travis. I mean, this is a guy that just reached out and just touched my heart.
Yeah.
Just pure love, and I love you, man. Thank you. And we're losing signal. We
We're
got
bromance.
bromance. It applies. Yeah, it'll work. That'll work. So, I love you all. I hope you learned something today. I want you to take what you learned and apply it in your businesses. I also want you to reach out to somebody this week who you see, or you may not see it, but you may have a feeling, oh man, this person might need some help. This person might need some advice. If you have this thing in the back of your head that says, man, I'm thinking about this person, I don't know why, there's a reason you're thinking about that person. Reach out to them, lift them up, help them out, do whatever you can. Otherwise, have a great week, and we will see you next week.